Let's set up an air compressor. So this is the air compressor that I've wanted for a while. This is from Harbor Freight. It is the Fortress Ultra Quiet Compressor. And I'm going to walk through getting it set up today. Since this air compressor is brand new, I have to do what they call breaking it in. And that means that I'm going to turn it on, turn the switch off, make sure the power cord's unplugged, fully open the drain valve. It was a little charged, that's interesting. Plug in the power cord and turn the power switch to auto and let it run for 30 minutes. Air will expel freely through the drain valve for 30 minutes. Then you unplug the power cord and close the drain valve. So that's just going to get it warmed up and get this guy ready to go. Let's do that. We are plugged in, drain valve is open. I'm going to turn it on and I'll come back in 30 minutes. While we're breaking in the new compressor, let's look at my old setup. My compressor is over here in a corner. And one of the reasons I'm changing it out is that it's actually pretty loud. This is a rigid 5-gallon compressor. It's nice, it gets the job done. There's 2 outlets. One of these outlets goes up the wall and it goes outside to my spray area outside. The other hose goes up the wall, and it goes over to the shop where I use my airbrush inside. The compressor is plugged in to a outlet remote control here that I turn on and off with a fob in the other room. That I don't have to run out to here when I want to turn on the compressor. Here in the main shop, the line comes out of the wall, it comes down, and it goes to a hose reel right here. And then this goes over to my airbrush, wherever it happens to be in the shop, via a quick connect. That is my old system. It has been 30 minutes. The air compressor is a little warm, but none of it is too hot to touch per se on these outer parts. The air coming out is a little bit warm, but this is properly broken in, and now we can carry on with getting everything set up. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and then I'm going to go ahead and close the air tank via this valve right here. When I set this up, it's also important to know that that's also my tank drain to get any water out of my tank. Because of atmospheric changes here in Texas and temperature variances, they're often you get water in your tank. That's why I'm going through the trouble of setting up moisture traps through the airline. I get some moisture traps, I get some moisture coming through my airline, but this will allow me to drain that tank right into a bucket if I put this on an elevated stool in the area. Aside from the compressor, this is everything else I got for this install. I picked up 2 3-foot air hose leads with 1/4 inch. These are 3/8 inch hose. That's the thickness of the hose with 1/4 inch NTP fittings. They're threaded. They're both double male, so there's a male on each side. I picked up a 1/4 inch mini air filter regulator combo, also from Harbor Freight. Everything here is from Harbor Freight. I picked up a 3/8 inch desiccant dryer with oil removal filter. This is a double unit, looks like that. And I picked up a 3/8 air regulator. And this has 2 fittings down here that are actually pretty important. They're going to change the 3/8 into 1/4 inch. 3/8 and everything else is 1/4 inch NTP. These two units are 3/8. I also have an inline oil water separator that just goes in the airline. I'll put that pretty close to the airbrush. I picked up a 1/4 inch and 3/8 double male coupling set. 1/4 inch and 3/8 double female coupling set. I also picked up some Teflon tape. Compressor included, everything you see here was just under $300. The way that I plan on setting up my air system is one hose will come over here out of the air compressor. So on this I have to put a male, and this is just for starters, and I'm going to pop that in here, and this air is going to go to the shop. And to the shop I want to put on the big air dryer and the big air regulator. The smaller air regulator is going to go to the outside. So when I attach this, I'm going to use Teflon tape. The Teflon tape is used to stop any air gaps. When this screws on, you'll note it screws in this direction. So I want to make the tape go on in that direction. So as I screw this on tight, I'm not unwinding the Teflon tape. And just a couple turns will do it. And you want to make sure that the Teflon tape doesn't go down over the hole and actually block airflow. I've seen that happen before. I've done it before. So you want to be careful. And I just do about 2 wraps. And then I pull it to break it off. But now as I tighten that, it's only going to tighten the Teflon tape and it's not going to undo it. And that should get me a nice leak-proof air connection. Now this side is going to go over to the wall, and so on it, it's going to go right into the air regulator. Let's do that one first. These guys have an in and an out. This is a 3/8 air regulator and has these two converters from 3/8 to 1/4 inch. I want to go in, and these are pretty clearly marked. There is an arrow right there that tells me the air goes in this way. So the air goes in this way. This is the way it's going to mount onto this board. So this will mount to this board over here. To make that work, this is my airflow direction that is this way, and I'm going to pull this out here, and I need this to screw into here. Once again, with Teflon tape, you can check the direction of your thread. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And I always, you put it on the threads. So I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to wrap it this way so that I don't loosen it. This is why I'm using the 3/8 double female. I'm going to connect the pressure gauge right along with the dryer. So this is going to go in between these two right here. This guy, of course, goes in here. For this, I'm going to use the double male that I have for the 1/4 inch.
This is brand new editing software for me, guys, so bear with me as I learn its ins and outs. Like, now I can do voiceover stuff pretty easy. Cool.
Let's see if it leaks.
So, big surprise, it leaked. And basically, all that I'm doing throughout this whole thing is I am lining up the arrows of airflow, and I am adding Teflon tape and putting the pieces together, getting them down, cinched nice and tight.
There is the slightest bit of an air leak there, and I think I'm okay with that. It's not a system that I leave aired up all the time. That'll work. Okay, so now I mount this to this board, and I can drop my shop line right into here.
This is me just getting it mounted to the board and put all together. Of course, I have the long screws. Those up top will hold it to the wall, and the short screws that I'm putting in hold it to the board. Getting that in place and just getting it prepped to get the compressor in there, and making sure that all hoses reach. I mounted it a bit too low, so I have to raise it up here in a second.
I think I'm going to raise that up a little bit.
Luckily, it's only 2 screws, and by raising it up, I can slide the compressor all the way underneath of it and still adjust all the valves. Placement's pretty important. This is a kind of a tight corner, perfect spot for the compressor. Now I'm just adjusting the valves on it, making sure it's kind of sitting right. I will probably add a clamp in front of it just to keep the compressor from walking, but it has nice rubber feet. Getting those hoses tucked away, and I'm setting the output for both of them at 70 psi on those gauges. So it's going out to my airbrush at 70 psi, and it's going out to the sprayer in the back at 70 psi. Love how quiet this compressor is. I just left it running during this whole clip.
Okay, that's our system running. It's pretty quiet. All the way on the other end, let's test the air sprayer out.